All right, ladies and gentlemen, friendly reminder, tomorrow you do have a test, 25 questions, 26 minutes. Oh, what a time to be alive. And focus and study guide. Nope, focus and pieces are due tomorrow. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the dude who does the theory of relativity? What's the name of the dude who does the theory of relativity? Good, Sophia. Einstein. On your whiteboard, please tell me who's the guy who studies the unconscious mind and repression of sexual desires, free associations. Good, Evan. Freud. On your whiteboard, please tell me who's the dude behind Cubism. Good. Come on. Lily. Picasso. On your whiteboard, please tell me what part of the Treaty of Versailles is going to cause the Great Depression. Sam. Reparations. On your whiteboard, what type of countries are going to be the most significantly hit? What type of countries are going to be the most devastated by it? No. No. Good. Shannon, educate your peers. Single export countries. So if you only have one export coming out of your country, then that's going to be a hit. So all of your colonies, remember we talked about it? I was going to have that. We're also going to have a massive agricultural crisis here in the United States. And what do we call that agricultural crisis? Good. What is it? Ashlyn? The Dust Bowl. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the actual date of Black Thursday? Good. Maggie?
October 24th.
There you go. On your whiteboard, what is it called when customers go to their bank and ask their bank for money, but banks don't have all your money just sitting there, so they're incapable of filling it, and that is going to cause more panic and eventually will cause banks to close. Claire? Run on the banks. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called when the United States government tried to save its economy by burning wheat and animals in order to drive up costs so farmers could make more money, but it was like a horrible plan. What do we got, Emma? Plan scarcity. On your whiteboard, what is the name of the dude who actually does save the U.S. economy? He decides to start playing with loans. Who is it? Who is it? Alexa? John Maynard Keynes. John Maynard Keynes is going to play with what affiliated with loans? He plays with what? Lowering and increasing in order to stabilize the economy. What is it, Emily? Interest rates, which is still being done today. So is it effective? Yes. Is it going to save the U.S. economy, though? No. Does it stabilize it? Yes. Okay. With that being said, what is the name of the president during about halfway through the Great Depression and eventually will be continued on into World War II? Jared? FDR. On your whiteboard, what officially pulls the United States out of the Great Depression? What is the official end of the Great Depression? Good. Joey? World War II spending. So, John Maynard Keynes is going to stabilize the economy. Does he save it? Does it become a robust, roaring economy? No, but he does stabilize it. Does that make him a hero? For sure, because other countries are going to be free-falling for a lot longer than ours. But it is going to be him. Okay, here we go. We did start talking about the Bolsheviks. Yes, we're in Russia? Okay, so the Bolshevik Revolution has occurred. Lenin is in power. They've just won the Russian Civil War. Okay, so with Lenin in power, he starts a new thing called war communism. Next to war communism, you need to have Lenin, because you need to know who is implementing what. So with war communism, he does rapid collectivization. You need to know that term, collectivization. We've talked about it before. We talked about it with the Tang Dynasty. What is collectivization? We talked about it as you were exiting yesterday. Sophia? There you go. When the government takes over all private land. You need to write that down to make sure you know. So, Lenin takes over all private land, okay, in order to equally redistribute it. Okay, so he takes over all private land in order to equally redistribute it. It is incredibly unpopular. It is incredibly unpopular, aka failure. Okay, so war communism failed. So his second policy is the new economic policy. So the first one he implements is war communism, and it's an epic failure. Then he implements the new economic policy, also known as NEP, and you need to have that abbreviation next to it because sometimes it's referred to as NEP. It was implemented by Lenin. You absolutely need to know that. Okay? And it has partial privatization. Partial privatization. What does that mean? What does that mean, Reagan? Some people own their, some people outright own their house, their property, their businesses. Most people don't. Who do you think these people are who get to have their land, Joey? The super, super rich people, of course, because God forbid we piss off the rich people. So, NEP, you will notice it does backtrack. Is it pure communism at this point? No, it is not. Pure communism has failed. Okay, communism is when the government kind of takes everything. Remember, we've talked about socialism and communism, yes? Did we talk about that? Okay, so, now, you do need to know, this is still under the new economic policy. It has some private enterprise. It has some private enterprise and a little bit of free markets. So it has a little bit of capitalism to it. Just a little, nothing too much. Okay? Now, you do need to know that under NEP, the Soviets are going to make sure everyone has electric in Russia. So, for the first time, all of Russia will have electric lights. And technical schools are going to be implemented, which is a big deal. Because eventually the Soviets are going to be the first ones to space. We know that, right? We know that the Soviets are going to be the first one to have a lot of new technology, correct? Which is what is going to really push the Cold War. Why? Because they start these technical schools significantly earlier than the United States does. Which is why they're more advanced than we are at the beginning of the Cold War. Now, who catches up?
America.
Who wins?
America.
But they do kick our butts for a while. Alright. Lenin dies in 1924. Put a star next to it. It's a big deal. It's a huge transition. Okay, Lenin dies in 1924 to some chaos. Okay? He dies of a stroke. He had 4 strokes during his life, and then he's just not highly functioning. And at the very end, it may have been like a flu that killed him, but he wasn't in top form. Okay, so after some power struggles, we don't need to get into that dramaticness. We now have Joseph Stalin. He should be your next heading. So he is totally different. So under Lenin, we had war communism. How'd that go? Failed. Then we have NEP. How'd that go? Meh. It went pretty well. I mean, it's not great. No one's like, wow, super effective. It had some positiveness. Okay? So, Lenin dies in 1924, and then he is replaced eventually by a guy named Joseph Stalin. Okay? You need to know that his nickname is Man of Steel. He's like Superman, but in the opposite direction. Like opposite. You know how cool Superman was because he was a good guy? Joseph Stalin is super cool because he's such a bad guy. He's like your quintessential villain. You know what I mean? Anyway, you need to know that he uses socialism to gain power and influence. Ladies and gentlemen, did I tell you that he is a believer in communism or socialism? No, he is not a believer. But does he use those weapons to gain more power for himself? And isn't that anti-communism, anti-socialism to gain power for one person? Yes. So, but he uses it as an opportunity. You do need to know that he takes power in 1928. I put a star next to that. So he takes power in 1928. So there's about 4 years of chaos in Russia post-Lenin. But don't worry, your boy Stalin is going to come on strong. Okay. First major plan that you need to know is the 5-year plan. And ladies and gentlemen, you are going to put 2 stars next to it because it is super successful. Okay, the 5-year plan is super successful. Why? Because it will officially industrialize Russia or the Soviet Union for the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, who is the dude responsible for industrializing Russia? Stalin. Okay? So, it will officially industrialize Russia. You need to know that it is going to have massive collectivization. What does collectivization mean? We literally just covered this, but we got to know this language. What is it, Shannon? There you go. The government is only going to take over farmland under the 5-year plan. You need to know that. It's called kulaks. And you definitely need to know that because it's on your test. Okay, so there is some collectivization, okay, but it's only of agriculture. So they're not taking over cities. Like if you live in an apartment, they're not taking over your house in the city. They're only taking over farms in order to streamline farming, okay, and they're called kulaks. You do need to know that term, okay. However, collectivization is going to end in 1931 to moderate success. Stalin claims it's a massive victory, but it's not. If it was a massive victory, do you think he would stop it? No. It's a moderate success. It ends, the collectivization ends in 1931. Okay, so, still under Stalin, so we have the 5-year plan, super successful, is going to industrialize Russia, big deal, we'll come back to it. Then we have the Great Purge, done by Stalin. This is still under Stalin. The Great Purge is him killing anyone who says anything negative about him. Damn! You know how I told you he's like Superman, but in the opposite way? This is what I mean. Okay? So, what he does is he removes all people, and by removes, what does that mean, people? Yeah, he kills them. Okay, he kills everyone who he thinks hates him or doesn't like him. And it's called the Great Purge. And it's called, also known as the cleansing. Evelyn, you need this down, girl. Pull it together here. Okay, so this will remove any challenges to his authority. So, is he getting stronger or weaker? Stronger. Hello, if you literally just killed, they estimate that he killed about 100,000 people outright. And then unknown amount of extra people. If that happened here in the United States, would that person have more power or less power? Well, here, yes, you're right. In the United States, it's less. But here in Russia, more power or less power? More, because everyone's terrified of him and no one wants to be sent to like labor camps and stuff like that. All right. So, that's Russia for now. We're going to walk away. Don't worry, we'll be back to Russia. Europe, let's just leave it Europe. Okay? Europe is your next heading. And the first thing we're going to talk about is fascism, which is right here. So, the first heading is Europe, and we're going to go with fascism, which is spelled right here for you. Fascism is a government sorry, I'm not trying to be dramatic. It's like a government theory. Like, you know, like ours is democracy. What's another term for that? Ideology. Thank you. That was not coming. Thank you so much. It's a government. I'm so sorry. I was not trying to be that dramatic. Government ideology where one person is the face of the government. Where one person is the face of the government, and they use patriotism and scare tactics to keep the government fervor alive. Perfect example. Now, Mussolini, he starts it. Hitler, Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany is fascism. Okay? Everything was always all about the Reich, the Third Reich, the Third Reich, the Third Reich, correct? The flowers, the banners, the flags, the whole thing. Yes, ma'am. And power. Okay, when you talk about fascism, ladies and gentlemen, it is based on one person. Every aspect of the government is based on one person. The face of the government is one person. Okay, and they use patriotism and xenophobia to keep power. It is created by Benito Mussolini of Italy. You need to know Benito Mussolini is from Italy. It is created by him. However, it's perfected by Hitler. Okay, so what is fascism? You need to know, I don't need you to write down all 7 of them. Okay, the major aspects of fascism. You do need to know the state over the individual. The most important thing that we do is we protect the country, then the individual. You need to know devotion to a strong leader. It's all about one person. It's also ethnocentric. What does ethnocentric mean? There's one race, right? So, here in Germany, what race was it? The Aryan race. It was all about white people and blue eyes. Yes? Hitler thought I was perfect. Blue eyes, blonde hair, fair skin. Damn, what a compliment. Yes. You're pretty close, aren't you, brown eyes? Yeah, well, you're not perfect. I mean, you're not my level, but Hitler wouldn't hate you that bad. Right. You also need to know that they're militaristic and xenophobic. What does xenophobic mean? You should know in 2020 what xenophobic is. It's used all the time. Oh, God. People, you live in America in 2020. What is xenophobic? No, it's afraid of foreigners. Afraid. Xenophobia? Anything that ends with phobia is a fear of. It's a fear of foreigners. Okay, so fascism. So it is going to spread very quickly. So let's talk about fascism in Italy. So this is still in Europe. This is fascism in Italy. Okay, why does it start? So you're under fascism in Italy, you're going to write why. Okay, because fascism doesn't catch on everywhere. It only catches on in certain places. Why does it start in Italy? People are annoyed with, people are hating the Treaty of Versailles. How did Italy get screwed for the Treaty of Versailles? Who can raise their hand? Lily. They didn't get the town? Yeah, sure. But really, what didn't, Emma? Yeah, they didn't get any reparations from Germany. They didn't get territorial gains. They didn't get any respect after the Treaty of Versailles. Why? Why? Julie? Why? What happened during World War I? Why didn't they get the respect they wanted? They thought they deserved, Sophia.
They joined late.
No, they didn't join late.
Oh, they left her.
Nope. Evelyn.
They switched teams.
They switched teams. They were on the German team, and then they switched teams in the middle of the war. Okay? So, You need to put a big star. The Great Depression hits Italy hard. So, they're pissed off at the Western powers, okay, because, now keep in mind, someone said that they joined late. Well, they didn't join late, but what country did join late? The United States, and who is definitely getting reparations? The U.S. So, there's a lot of complication. A lot of countries are annoyed about the United States and the Allied powers. So, the Great Depression is also hitting them. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you can't feed your family and your family is starving to death and you have no economic opportunities, are you your best self or your worst self? Worst self, which is why this is going to rise. So, Mussolini is a former newspaper editor. So, does he know how to talk to the people? Does he know how to send a very clear message? Yes. So, what he's going to do is he is going to join a anti-monarchy group called the Black Shirts. So Mussolini is going to join an anti-monarchy group called the Black Shirts. Okay? And then, eventually, with enough public pressure, he will become leader of Italy in 1926. What do you got, Reagan?
How do the Italians
No. It's kind of a dark time. It's kind of like in Germany. Now, Germany does talk about Hitler, but they don't wow, Hitler, woo. Except it is coming back. There's a lot of Nazism rising in Germany right now. It's a huge deal. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to sound like an alarmist, but ladies and gentlemen, around the world today, and including here in the United States, do we have a devotion to a strong leader here in the United States? Yeah, Donald Trump. He puts himself in the center of everything going on in the U.S. government. Would we agree? He, even on the judicial branch, is he involved? Yeah, he's sending out tweets on a regular basis. Is there a white crime problem we have here in the United States? Do we have a white supremacy problem growing here in the United States? It's the fastest growing problem. By the way, New Jersey has said it's their #1 problem, is white supremacy. They came out this past weekend. So, ethnocentrism, do we have? Militarism, is that a big thing happening here in the United States? Yeah, under Trump administration, we put $700 billion more towards it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am just giving you American facts. Okay? There is a lot of historians and other people who are saying there's a lot of similarities between Trumpism and fascism. Now, am I saying they're absolutely equal? Hello? No, I'm not. Am I calling Trump a fascist? No, I'm not. Now, there are some good things to fascism. You're going to hear me talk about him in a second when I talk about Hitler. Hitler is a horrible, horrible, horrible human being. He did some incredible things for Germany. He's a very complex person. Yes? Horrible human being. Please don't misunderstand me. There are a lot of similarities between Trumpism and fascism. Now, Trumpism here in the United States is also all around the world. So the Donald Trump, whether you love him, hate him, is a trend that we're seeing through Western Europe and in Asia today. Modi, who is the Prime Minister of England, mirrors Trump. So this idea of this whole kind of fascist kind of component is trending worldwide. Now, am I calling Trump a fascist? No. Am I saying that there are similarities? Yes. Do things come into fashion and then fall out of fashion? Yes. So, fascism has been talked about a lot in the last 6 years with the rise of Trump, and it has become a bigger deal. I am not calling Trump a fascist. He is not a clear-cut fascist. He's not. However, does he support some of these things? Xenophobia is a big component of it, correct? Okay. We have a huge rise of white supremacy in the last 5 years here in the United States. So, am I talking about that Trump is a fascist? No. But is this a problem that is rising throughout the whole world? Yes. So we're seeing it. Okay, Germany. Fascism in Germany is your next heading. So it is Mussolini who starts fascism, but it is Hitler who perfects it. Okay, so you need to know, just listen. Hitler fought in World War I. He fought in the trenches, saw some real bad shit, went back home, and he applied to art school in Switzerland, and he got rejected. Damn it. Anyway, so he got rejected. He wasn't a terrible artist, but he had no real creativity. He could just paint something he saw, which is fine. Hi. He's not a terrible artist. He's just not very creative, and it's not what they were looking for. So he got rejected. So anyway, he got rejected. He got drunk in a bar. And then when he woke up after drinking too much, all of a sudden there was a meeting going on around him. And he was like, what the hell is this? Well, it was the National Socialist German Workers' Party. So Hitler saw it as divine intervention that God wanted him to be a part of it. So in 1921, he woke up in a bar and there was a meeting. Well, within 4 years, he's running the damn thing. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, you need to know that Hitler will lead the National Socialist German Workers' Party, also known as Nazis. Okay, so, the reason why he got involved is because he was drunk at a bar because he got rejected from art school. So everyone's like, if you could go back in history, what would you do? I'd kill Hitler when he was a baby. No, just get him into art school, man. Just get him into art school. Anyway, okay, so he tries to lead a coup, but fails and lands in jail. What's a coup? We've talked about it 10,000 times. What's a coup, Lily? Yeah, he tries overthrowing the government and fails. Okay, so he lands himself in jail. Okay, while in jail, he writes Mein Kampf. Okay, Mein Kampf means my struggle in German, which you need to know. And he writes that while he's in jail. Anyone here read Mein Kampf? I have. Why have you read it? Do you just want to know?
No, we have to read it in German class.
Oh, shit. It is the most propaganda bullshit you've ever read. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Talks about how the hills are the most glorious hills in the world. Everyone knows Switzerland's got the best hills. Okay?
You're just mad you didn't get
Exactly. It's just pissed. Well, anyway, if you read it if you want to. Here in America, you're allowed to read it. Germans just got the right to read it for the first time in 50 years, about 5 years ago. And it has been the #1 book in Germany, especially in the last 5 years, by the way. So a little concerning, just saying. Germany is definitely turning more right-wing extreme. But yes, you can read it. My husband and I read it on as an audiobook. It's not in German. No. Read it in English, you weirdos. I don't speak German. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to know that Hitler rises on a platform of anti-Treaty of Versailles. He rises because of his platform of anti-Treaty of Versailles. So, people in Germany are pissed. He uses that hatred and rises into power. Why are they pissed off? The reparations from the war guilt clause. Okay, Germany owes $33 billion. Guess what Germany definitely didn't have? $33 billion. Okay? They also are going to use anti-Semitism. Okay? He's going to blame the Jews for all of the problems of Germany. The reason why the Germans lost the war? The Jews. The reason why the Germans have to pay reparation? The Jews. The reason why your life is hard? The Jews. The reason why you're unhappy in your marriage? I don't know, I guess the Jews. Everything was blamed on the Jews. Why? They were an easy target. Now, the funny thing is Hitler is half Jewish. So he really hated his mother, I guess. I don't know. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, you need to know that Hitler will be appointed Chancellor of Germany in 1934, which is like Prime Minister. Merkel, have you heard of Merkel? She's the Chancellor of Germany today. That's how powerful he was. Like, okay. Now, he was chancellor, is going to make the Nazis the only legal political party in Germany. So he's going to consolidate, as chancellor, he's going to consolidate power. So he's going to make the Nazis the sole legal party. He destroys trade unions. And he's going to punish his enemies. So kind of like the Stalin thing. He doesn't necessarily kill all of them, but he does kill a bunch of them. Unlike Stalin, who kills literally everybody. Okay? He also is going to use racial superiority, aka the Aryan race, as a justification. So he wants to purify Germany of its weakness. And anyone who is not white is weakness. Okay? It's called eugenics. You should know that term. Eugenics is the cleansing of genes. Now, eugenics was a very popular thing all around the world, even here in the United States. Helen Keller, huge Hitler fan. Yeah, Helen Keller was a huge Hitler supporter and eugenics supporter. Which, ironically, if Helen Keller was living in Germany, guess who Hitler would have killed? Helen Keller. The first guy to fly across the Atlantic. That guy. Lindenberg. Lindenberg, also a huge Hitler fan. Hitler was Time Magazine's #1 man. Yeah, Time Person of the Year was Hitler. Greta Thunberg and Hitler, same platform. There you go. Okay. You need to know that eugenics is going to kill anyone with any physical or mental disabilities. Okay, and this is the precursor to the Holocaust. They figured out how to do it underneath this system, and then they're going to implement it on a much bigger system for the Holocaust. All right, and another component of Hitler's Germany is anti-Semitism, of course. Okay, anti-Semitism, you need to know we have the Nuremberg Laws, 1935. That is going to discriminate openly against Jews. Now, ironically, at the end of the war, we have the Nuremberg trials, which are going to prosecute the Germans for crimes against humanity. So Nuremberg in 1935 are going to put the laws on the Jews. In 1944, they're going to liberate the Jews. So it's just kind of an interesting thing. So 1935, we're going to have racial discrimination against the Jews. Okay, and then you have Kristallnacht, which is a huge deal. You need to put a star next to it. Kristallnacht means night of broken glass, and you need to know that. Kristallnacht is the night of broken glass. Huh? It's the official start of the Holocaust. It's the official start of the Holocaust where Jewish businesses are destroyed and burned, and people are literally captured in plain sight and sent on trains to labor camps. So it's the official start. And after this, it's just keeps getting worse. Okay. So that's what's happening in Germany. That's a lot going on. All right, here we go. On your whiteboard. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is fascism rises into popularity because both Italy and Germany hate what document that they feel has personally victimized them and their economy? Good. What is it, Sterling? Treaty of Versailles. On your whiteboard, what is the name of the man who created fascism and what country is he from? Good. Evan. Mussolini. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the gentleman who is going to perfect fascism in Germany? Good. What is it, William? Hitler. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the gentleman who comes into power post Lenin? Good. What is it? Jared. Stalin. What is the name of the plan that is going to industrialize Russia for the first time? Good. What is it, Maggie? 5-year plan on your whiteboard. Please tell me what is it called when Stalin killed all of his enemies? What do we call it? There's 2 names I'll take. Good. What is it, Emma? The Great Purge, or what else, Jared? The cleanse. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the first economic policy that Lenin implements. It's an epic failure, and he'll have to retract it because the people will rebel openly. What is his first economic policy that has an epic failure, Joey? War communism. What is it called when the government takes over all land? Sam. Collectivization. What is the somewhat successful Lenin economic policy that is implemented that has some collectivization but also some capitalistic? What is it? Brian. New economic plan or NEP? Under NEP, that's fine. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is, when under Joseph Stalin, what do we call the land that's collected that's agricultural? What is the fancy term for the agricultural collection of land? Do you see the difference, Daniel? What is it, Daniel? Kulaks. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the group that Mussolini joined in order to rise into power? Good. Emily. Black shirts. What is the full name of the group Hitler joined in order to rise into power? The full. This is a question on your test tomorrow. Good. Madison. There you go. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the official start of the Holocaust called? What is the official start of the Holocaust called? Good. What is it? Sterling. Kristallnacht. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called when you're trying to purify a race? What is the fancy scientific term for purifying of a race? What is it, Alexa? Eugenics. There you go. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot other content. So, I am going to record 2 lectures today. You've got the fascist one. There is going to be one on outside Europe that I'm going to do in second period. Is everyone clear on that? So tonight, do you need to watch a lecture? Yes. So, I will have 2 lectures up for you. So, you just watch the European one, European and American one. And I will have an outside Europe one. Is that fair? Hello?
Yeah.
Goodbye.